Got to go around the light. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. I think I haven't put my headphones on. Let's check. Let's make sure. Yep, we're here. I hear us now. So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Art of the Jam. Space Camp. I haven't even had the opportunity. I've been so stressed. Whoa, dude, come on. Watch where you point that fucking thing, dude. Jesus Christ.
It's just like, you ever seen Horton Hears a Who?
I don't think so.
With the Jim Carrey one?
Yeah, I know. I definitely know what it is. I don't know if I've actually watched
they're
it, though.
shooting I think they're just shooting the bananas, and with the way it peels open, and it just shoots out.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's all I envisioned. I couldn't keep character.
Well, you know what? It's okay. One of us,
whoa.
Yeah, he's fucking packing heat. And by heat, I mean potassium.
Can we acknowledge how fucking straight this thing
is? It's honestly, I'm not to burst your bubble here, but I've seen straighter bananas.
That one time.
But that's perfectly curved to resemble like a blunderbuss or like a. Do you know what a dragoon is? Do you know first of all, do you know what a blunderbuss is?
I know that's a gun, right?
It's like a flintlock pistol, like a pirate pistol, but it's like a sawn-off shotgun size is a blunderbuss, but a dragoon is a handheld blunderbuss. It's kind of like a dragoon.
Isn't it the one with the weird...
Yeah, it's got the little clippy-clip things.
It's only single shot?
Yeah, sometimes two.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those things are cool.
Dog. A blunderbuss, a banana bus. Yeah. Whoa, that hurt my ears. But you know what? If it was a real gunshot, it probably would have hurt my ears worse. So I'm really fortunate that it was a banana
and
this
also,
time.
You're wearing headphones. And surprisingly, they're both working.
What, my headphones?
Or are they only one's working?
Actually, I think it's just the left that works. But it works it good enough. So, you know. But, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to we are going to continue our 3-part series of Death and Dissonance. Last episode we covered conspiracies and murders in music. Dimebag Darrell, Kurt Cobain, Elliott Smith. This time we are covering Death and Dissonance Part 2. Incalculable Casualties and Freak Tragedies, the minstrels of misadventures taken too soon by the universe's misfortunes. This is Art of the Jam, and I hope you stick around till after the jam to hear us talk about this topic here. It's fun. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one. I've done quite a bit of research, and some of them are fun, yet so unfortunate and dark as shit. And speaking of dark, today, in the tradition of Art of the Jam, I have a question for our lovely audience. Our question for today, our question for today is, what is a song or album deemed unlistenable, one that takes you back to your darkest days? Essentially, I mean, what is an album, not necessarily unlistenable, but something that's very hard for you to listen to nowadays because it takes you back to that pocket of the past in which you were a shitbird, or you had a terrible time, or a death in the family, or something like that. Something that let's explore the deepest, darkest pit of our psyche.
Well, honestly,
you're not to answer it.
I can't. Oh, yeah,
you don't know how the show works yet. I feel like
I forgot we already admit.
All right, so guys, the question is, what is a song or album deemed unlistenable? One that takes you back to your darkest days. And that being said, Space Camp, give me your hand, because I think I need to hold your hand this episode, because I think that you don't quite know how this works yet.
No, I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
83 episodes, and you fucking don't know how this goes. All right? Beebity bobbity boobity beebity beebity bobbity. Cue the intro now. Bing!
impression of the jam.
We are back from the intro. That was my impression of a dirt bike. It was very good. So, Space Camp, during the intro, because what you guys don't know is that we still sit and chat while the intro is going on and behind the scenes. And Space Camp was got too excited and jumped the gun right before the intro. And he told me that he got excited about trauma. I don't know if anybody else is excited about trauma, but apparently he is, and I am too, because I'm excited to hear about his trauma. So, I hope audience, that you took the opportunity and commented in the comments. Commented in the comments. I hope that you answered that question, and let me know in the comments. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm talking over myself, and I'm fucking flipping out, and I haven't even. Space Camp. Why don't you go ahead and let's hear this excitement you have for your trauma.
I fucking hate this song. Scars by Papa Roach.
I think
that song is just, oh my god.
Popular opinion, everybody hates that song.
Well, like also
my scars remind me.
It was definitely like a dark time in my, like I was definitely like 12, 13 around that time. It was just it was very like dark age.
Dude, no, you would have had to have been younger than that, because I was about 12 when that song came. When the song came out, I guess. I guess you could have discovered it later in life.
Yeah.
But all right.
But it was just definitely. Sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, it was just definitely one of those parts of my life that you like hear a song all the time, and you like every time you hear that song, it just takes you back to that.
Absolutely. That's
kind of the point of this
spirit of the question here. Yeah. This
is a good question.
I'm trying to do some dark questions with a dark topic, you know what I mean? Like last episode, we were talking about what song you'd like to be murdered to, which was
funny.
Yeah, and this one, honestly, it's like I think it's pretty. I don't think it's healthy to dwell in the past, but I think it's healthy to explore what makes you tick as a human being. You know what I mean? And I think identifying something such as a song or album that you can't listen to anymore because it makes you feel like shit and brings up trauma is interesting.
Only Papa Roach, and this is just my opinion, their first album is their only good album.
Is the Scars isn't the same one with the Last Resort?
No, it's not.
Okay, because the Last Resort, I remember, dude, I was in like 4th, 5th grade when that came out. Because I remember at the playground in Kansas City, I was like, "This is my last resort."
Skating shit.
Yeah, just fucking skating.
Dead Cell is probably my favorite song off that album. Dead Cell.
I'm not crazy familiar with Papa Roach. I literally only know those two songs. I think that Papa Roach is gay.
After the first album, yes.
I'm just fucking. But no, I this was such an easy question for me, but it's kind of and that, like I said, this is kind of the spirit of the question, but it's kind of unfortunate because this is one of my favorite albums of all time, and it's the Brothers album by the Black Keys.
What? That sucks.
It sucks. And I was talking to Michelle about this, is because that is one of my favorite albums of all time. Such a good one. And I can't listen to it anymore because it was one of those albums that my buddy burned for me, and I would just roll around in my dad's truck. Sorry, Dad. I don't know if you're gonna watch this, but I was just fucking pill popping, pot smoking, fucking piece of shit, dude. Pill popping, pot smoking, chain smoking, motherfucker.
Shit bird.
Driving around in my dad's truck without his knowledge, just being a bad guy.
Michael, if you're watching this, bro.
This is. I feel like this is what this is for. I am here on this earth to be a human being, and if I can't admit to all my wrongdoings,
right,
then what the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm here to be better than I was yesterday, and that's what's important. So, I apologize, Dad, but sorry, not sorry. But yeah, it's just the Brothers album just takes me back to a time, and where I was just a bad guy. I wasn't even a bad guy. It was just like a lot of bad things happened. Like I was, going through like a shitty relationship. One of my buddies went to jail, and so I was like visiting my buddy in jail. Like it was just I got arrested. Like, just that kind of shit, And it was constantly playing. It was one of those that I just hit repeat on the fucking stereo, and it would just sit there and
just always play.
Yeah. So that was that. But
I know that there's just. I feel like I have a couple of albums that were like that. I can't. Well, I want to say "All Hope Is Gone" was one of those.
What's that?
Slipknot's.
Oh, yeah. I mean, can you still listen to it though?
Sometimes, but there's only a few select songs.
Yeah, it's like you can't. It's almost like you can't go back and listen to them unless you're like prepared to relive that.
Right. Bring Me the Horizons, like Sepultura, not Sepultura. I cannot remember. It's the one with the umbrella on it. I don't know. Some people might know, but there was an album that I listened to while tweaking my fucking ass off, getting fucking high.
Whoa, dude! I feel like we're disclosing a lot of shit today that a lot of people didn't know about us. But,
and those was one of those albums I can't really listen to anymore because it was like I honestly really got into them while I was high, so now it's like different when I listen to them. You know what I mean? It like puts me in a weird place.
Yeah, you're like residually tweaking.
Yeah, like why am I scratching right now?
Like, man, every time I listen to this, every time I listen to this, there's just roaches in my skin. I don't know what the fuck.
Just fucking.
It's not even roaches. It's literal like pot roaches. It's like I'm trying to get high, dude. No, that's fucking crazy. But no. Do you have anything else to add before we move on?
What was it? Let me do. No, I was gonna say the Indestructible album by Disturbed, but I can listen to that one.
Right.
So
yeah.
That one doesn't count.
Yeah. There's also an album, a BB King album that it was the first album I ever bought with my own money. Like, I think, yeah. Why I Sing the Blues by BB King. I worked my first job. I worked at a factory for 3 whole days, and I got a hefty paycheck because it was a high-paying job. I just couldn't fucking handle it because I couldn't handle being a robot. But I got that album, and that's a hard one to listen to.
Just thought of another one. You'll make fun of me for this one, but I did go through a phase where I like Five Finger Death Punch.
I'm not gonna make fun of you.
But
do I not like them? No.
But there was like their first 2 albums. It was Way the Fist and War's the Answer.
Yeah.
And like I listened to those. Like honestly, it was probably the only 2 albums I had like on a phone that I had at the time. So I like listened to it all year long. Like just those 2 albums.
A funny fact. Not to change the subject, but I had a buddy of mine that he was super into Five Finger Death Punch. Like he even had a Zippo that said "Death Before Dishonor," which is
it's a great song.
Yeah, and all that shit. He had 9 toes, right, my buddy? Because I guess when he was a kid, he was jumping on the bed and he got his toe caught in the bed frame and it tore his toe off. This is what's funny about it, though. It was his favorite band was Five Finger Death Punch, so we dubbed him the nickname Nine Toe Death Joe, because his name was Joe and he had 9 toes. But Nine Toe Death Joe. I hope somewhere he's listening to that because that'd be so fucking funny.
What the fuck?
No, but let's go ahead and we'll segue to the album of the week. So, album of the week here I have the Best of Spirit, which we will. Randy California is the guitarist of Spirit, or he was for a majority of their career and everything. And we will get into him briefly for during the topic. He's not one of the main three, but he is he's the honorable mention at the end. So, go ahead and listen to "Mechanical World" was the first song I ever heard by Spirit, and I was literally hooked. And Mr. Skin, "I Got a Line on You," "Animal Zoo." Yeah, it doesn't have Streetworm on here, but if you ever get a chance, go listen to Streetworm as well. But Spirit, they are, a beautiful band.
They got spirit.
They got spirit. That's true. That's true.
I have. So I found out some tea. It kind of goes along with our episodes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I found out that this is Chester Bennington. Some stuff on him. I guess that he was like taking out loans, like over $50,000 worth of loans and shit.
Awesome.
No, I'm alright. But taking out loans, and he was having a hard time paying it back. So I wonder if he got popped off by Loan Shark. And
you know what? Keep that in mind. That we'll cover that.
Because also his son's got a podcast and he talks about this shit. And
oh,
whatnot.
He does.
Yeah, and I guess Mike, one of the lead singers for Linkin Park, was trying to kick.
Oh, Mike Shinoda.
He was trying to kick Chester out before he even died.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Like, I guess Mike is kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, Mike Shinoda is the only one that I really knew. And then Chester Bennington died, and I realized he was the real guy behind it all, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh,
because because the original drummer and I think one of the original guitar players didn't return when they brought the band back. Like there's like a lot of shit happening between like right now with that. I just thought that was interesting.
That would be an interesting topic. We'll save that for another episode. That'd be kind of fun.
I definitely want to like look into like Chris Cornell a little bit.
I mean, that's scary territory, but let's do it.
Dude, because honestly, I feel like they had similar things happening, but I feel like
absolutely.
But I feel like Chris was getting more into like political shit.
Yeah,
and he was sticking his nose where shouldn't have been.
Where it don't belong.
Oh yeah.
Nah. Definitely. Yeah. Let's save that. That'd be a good topic. That'd be a good topic in the future. I
think it would be interesting to also. I'm pretty sure he did die of overdose.
Yeah.
But Lane Stanley.
Or he was overdosed. He was unalived.
But I think it'd be interesting because you could. I've seen some pictures of him, like the last pictures that were taken of him, and he looked rough. And so I wonder. I don't. And also, funny thing, it's not really that funny, but it's weird that Lane Stanley and Kurt Cobain died on the same exact day, 8 years apart.
I mean, I feel like that's just coincidence.
I just thought that was weird.
Yeah. But, let's. I feel like there's a lot to unpack on that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't know enough at this point to continue on. I don't want to. You know what I mean? 'Cause I don't know enough, but I'd like to do some research on that because that would be fucking. That'd be fucking fire, dog. But let's go ahead and do a hard segue into the. Sorry. Stop fucking doing that. I don't like that. I'm just kidding. I mean, I really don't want you to do it.
No, I did that on purpose. Just to see your reaction.
I mean, I guess I do it with coffee all the time, but you know. That was fuck. The Banana Smacks were loud. That's a good band name. But speaking of band names, we're gonna do a hard segue into the what is this? Phantom Sam and the Fictions. This is the segment of the show for you guys out there who don't know. This is the segment of the show where over the course of the week, one of us, if not both of us, will come up with a handful of fictitious band names where we'll chat about them. We'll try to figure out what genre they would play, who they would open for, what their album, anything about them. We'll just bullshit about them. So, that being said, Phantom Sam and the Fictions commences with fictitious band name number 1, Slightly Heisty. Ska. I feel like ska for some reason. Slightly heisty. Punk with brass.
No, I get like Arctic Monkeys vibes.
Slightly heisty? How about
whatever that genre is?
Well, it depends, because I feel like Arctic Monkeys kind of.
Or something like Muse.
I feel like if Muse played skate music, I don't know. I feel like Slightly Heisty. It has this it has this shoulder movement to it for some reason. I don't know why. Like heisty. I don't know. Female rap group.
Yeah.
Slightly heisty.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like that, but with brass. I feel like we got to meet in the middle. Somewhere.
Well, okay, they got some R&B like rap, but they also like saxophone, trumpet.
Yeah. I can see that. And I feel like a little bit. It's an upbeat rap group. You know, there's not. I feel like
or something like Flowbots, like that aura behind it. I don't know if you ever heard Flowbots.
No, I know Flowbots, and I kind of disagree with you, but at the same time, that's okay. I think we're onto something with the female rap group with brass.
Erase that because that sucked.
No. I get you on the Flowbot thing. I'm just like maybe, yeah, because I don't know, man. I guess that makes sense. We should just leave it at that. All female rap group with some brass. They have brass, live brass, backing track, like a normal hip hop group would have, but then you have brass over the top. I feel like, or something like that. Who do you think they would open for?
The Return of Destiny's Child.
Okay. Dude, you're on it. You're on it. Yeah. They would open up for Destiny's Child, and what is that one band where the chick pissed on that guy? Brass Against the Machine. Yeah. They would that would be an eclectic fucking bill. They would have Slightly Heisty opening up for Brass Against the Machine at the Destiny's Child reunion tour. Bingo, we got it. Moving on.
I think we really filled that one up real quick.
Yeah. And this actually kind of goes with that. This could go with that one, but fictitious band name number 2, Hood Odyssey. Hood Odyssey. It's definitely got some hip hop vibe to it.
Yeah, they hip hop, and they just all their videos is people of them just stealing hoods of cars.
Well, that has nothing to do with their style of music, but there we go. We figured out what their first music video would be called. Huge. But Hood Odyssey. No, I came up with that one because there's a movie where that I seen the previews for, and it was like a little kid who, like, his parents get raided, and then they're gonna like take him away, and it takes place in the hood. I'm not being like racist or anything, but his parents get taken, and then he doesn't want to get put into foster care. And so he like escapes with his hood friends, and they're like 12, you know, and like they go on this big odyssey. And so I was like, man, that's like a hood odyssey, like the Iliad and the Odyssey, like Homer type of shit.
I dig that.
Like, oh brother, where art thou? But oh brother, where art thou? You know what I mean? It's like that. So a hood odyssey, but
that's funny.
But yeah, I feel like it would be like some kind of like bluesy hip hop. You know what I mean? Like blues hop.
Dude.
Is that a thing yet?
I don't know. I might have to look that up later.
They should make that.
That sounds
Do we agree on that?
Yeah, I do. Because honestly, I think like of like their like I'm thinking of a logos like you ever seen the Warriors?
Yeah. Warriors come out to play.
Yeah. I played the video game too. Did you ever play it?
No.
Oh, dude, I had like 2 copies on PS2, bro.
Oh well.
But
if one got scratched, I had another one.
Exactly. And same with Vice City. But I just think of like it on a Hood Odyssey, just in spray paint.
That could be the album cover.
Yeah.
Hood Odyssey. Hell yeah, dude. I dig that. All right. Fictitious band name number 3. Pill Milk. What do you think Pill Milk would be? I feel like it would be... Well, I feel like all of these are kind of hip-hop-esque. I feel like Pill Milk is like I feel like it's got to be that like heavy pill-popping white rapper drug culture type of thing. Like I don't know. I feel like it's definitely a white rapper if it's a rapper. Not Pill Milk as in like that's the guy's name, but if it was like a group, it would definitely be like white rappers. Yeah, but like druggy. I don't know. You want to know why? You want to know the backstory to this one?
Kinda.
Pill Milk. Do you know what? I don't know if you ever knew this, but whenever you would get like hydrocodone tablets from like the dentist or something, they would always be like 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams of hydrocodone, and then like 200 to 300 acetaminophen, right? And so if you want to get high and not destroy your liver completely, you would need to extract the hydrocodone and separate it from the acetaminophen. And my buddy, who I'm not going to say, figured out how to cold water extract hydrocodone from the acetaminophen. But whenever you did that, you would get a glass of hydrocodone and it looked like milk. And we would chug it. Yeah. So it was like, I just was like, yeah, it's just like we cold water extract hydrocodone from the acetaminophen, and then it just makes like a glass of pill milk.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then you drink it and you get really high and it'd be great. But yeah, that's what that's from.
That's fun.
That's why I'm like, I feel like it would be some kind of like white SoundCloud rapper type of thing for some reason. That's just the vibe it gives me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I feel like the first album would be called Crying Over Spilled Milk. Yeah.
It's actually kind of dope.
Yeah. Maybe I'm going to start being a white SoundCloud rapper, but no, you have anything to add to that?
No, I didn't have any, dude.
That one was my favorite, and actually that was the first one, and I saved it for last, thinking that we would have something really good for that one, but I feel like Slightly Heisty and Hood Odyssey really knocked it out of the park. I feel like we could sacrifice Pill Milk. I feel like we did all right with the Pill Milk. Dang, it's just kind of weird, but it doesn't matter. Pill Milk, yeah. But that being said, that concludes the segment of the show, Phantom Sam and the Fictions. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the jam portion of the show, and when we get back, we're going to get into our topic, which is Death and Dissonance Part 2, Incalculable Casualties and Freak Tragedies, the minstrels of misadventure, taken too soon by the universe's misfortunes. So, with that being said, let's get to the jam portion of the show.
Da da da. Poker, face poker in the face. Poke. Have you heard the Kid Cudi maker say, oh, 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 poker face, poker face. They make us say, ow, 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 ow. When you use your medulla oblongata. Honestly, I'm going to say this. Unpopular opinion, but Kanye is no good without Kid Cudi. I'm going to be honest. The only I other than Black Skinhead, I really like that song for some reason. It's a dope fucking beat, dope fucking song. Kanye, I'm not gonna say anything about Kanye. Other than I like his music way more when he's collaborating with Kid Cudi. Like Maker Say, he has a verse in that off of Man on the Moon 1, which is debatably one of the greatest hip hop albums.
When he did that album with Jay-Z,
That was
the only time I liked it.
Yeah, and then Kids See Ghosts. Have you heard that album?
Actually, you showed me some of that.
It's great. Yeah. It's great. But it's literally just Kid Cudi and Kanye, a whole album of them. Yeah. It's working. Kid Cudi is dope, and he stands on his own, but a lot of his collaborations with other rap artists are top notch, like Bees with RZA in it. Whoo! That's great. He says, I don't write songs, Grasshopper, I write sceneries. One of the greatest lines of any rap song ever. It's so fucking beautiful. Anyways, guys, welcome to the jam portion of the show. We are back once again. And I'll be candid. This is the second one that we've filmed. Third one we've filmed in 2 days. And so the two episodes before this, we did a roll. And as I promised a couple episodes ago, we're gonna do a little freestyle every now and again, just to me and Space Camp want to get our little jollies off. I think with just no boundaries, just fucking around, funking each other's funk holes. Hey, I didn't make it weird, you made it weird, but so no roll today. We are just going to freestyle. Anyways, let's get it.
That's funny.
Yeah, dude, that was a good fucking journey. I think we took that, we wove a little story out of that one. I think.
Yeah, no, dude, like that was some new shit we just did there.
And I found some new fucking chords. And I was just like, oh, these three notes fit together. I'll get like that fucking. Or no, it was.
I don't just like the majestic part. I'm definitely taking inspiration from some new bands that I've like fell in love with.
Like what?
Like, well, obviously, Caligula's horse or Caligula's horse.
That is definitely a hard word to say.
Man, the more and more, and like I watched some live videos of those fucking guys last night. It's only one fucking guitar player. It is, oh my, he just blew my fucking mind. He's so good, and then their Verkan is a Vurkan. I think I'm saying that right. Verkan.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like I'm trying to like instead of putting a fur, put a V is a Verkan. I think that's what it sounds like.
I don't know. We'll continue this conversation off camera, though,
okay.
So remember what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the jam. We had fun. It was freestyle. We took you for a journey. We took ourselves for a trancy journey. So, let's get back to the show.
Fuck! Yeah!
Bee bee ba ba boo bee 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 ba 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 whammy 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 whammy. We are back from the Jammy.
Whammy back from the. I love that.
Yes, we are back from the Jammy Jam sandwich. Yes, that delicious, delectable, sweet, purpley center. I love it. Let's do it. So we are back. I hope you enjoyed the jam portion of the show, and we are about to get into our topic here. Which is, and I'll repeat, it's Death and Dissonance Part 2, the Incalculable Casualties and Freak Tragedies, the Minstrels of Misadventure, taken too soon by the universe's misfortunes. So, that being said, I will get into it here. So, first off, I'm going to do a little disclaimer here. So, some of these were just like not enough information. So I'm doing a little bit of background information on the person and the band roughly that leads up to their misfortune.
See that pen real quick.
Sure. So first off, we have Stephen Peregrine Took. He was born Stephen Ross Porter in July 28th, 1949 in Etham, London, and attended Shooters Hill School, which sounds kind of scary. Why, you go to a high school that is called Shooters. It's kind of scary, in my opinion. But he adopted the name Peregrine Took from a hobbit out of the Lord of the Rings series, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, I feel like you can do whatever the fuck you want nowadays. I'm gonna be called fucking Tom Sawyer now if I wanted to. I could be Huck Finn. I don't know. Fuck it. But he is best known for his work as half of the duo of Tyrannosaurus Rex alongside Mark Bolan. But also he went on to front several other bands. As well as pursuing his own solo songwriting. While playing in the band The Waterproof Sparrows, he answered an ad in the paper to play in Tyrannosaurus Rex. Originally a full, all-electric band, they experienced a nightmare shit gig, right, at the Electric Gardens in London, and thus they ended up reducing the band to an acoustic two-piece, and were forced underground to busk in the subways. But I don't know, that almost frightened me a little bit. But Took was he was playing the bongos at the time on account of having to he sold his kit in order to pay his rent, which it's not the first time I've heard that over in history.
Oh yeah.
But like Hendrix, I guess he would like pawn it, pay his rent, and then borrow a guitar, make money at a gig, and then get his guitar back from pawn, and he would do that. I thought that was kind of crazy. But,
holy shit.
Yeah. He sold his full kit to pay the rent, so he went to the bongos and stuff like that. And they released 3 albums together as Tyrannosaurus Rex and as a duo unit, and pushed Bolin to new territories, actually, with the use of his bongos, African drums. He would use kazoos and gongs and shit, which I thought that was kind of interesting. And though they did eventually return to electric guitars and a full drum kit, and Took also would like contribute to like bass guitar and stuff during the recording and stuff. But the turning point, though, for a time they had a 50-50 relationship until Took started to develop his own songwriting skills and pressed Bolin to perform some of his material. Bolin, I don't know if you know anything about T-Rex or Tyrannosaurus Rex, but Mark Bolin is infamous for having Napoleon complex, which is small man syndrome, meaning like he was a very small guy, and so he wanted to like, nah, we're gonna do what I want to do, and I'm the man, you know, basically kind of thing. But he didn't want to. He basically refused to play any of Took's material, and so Bolin refused, causing the chemistry as their duo to start to fall apart and deteriorate and whatnot. And Bolin lived with his wife, and Took started to part ways by establishing connections with underground music scenes, and along with heavy drug use. And then they began to strongly detest one another. So basically they were living like separate lives. Like Bolin was like small man dick smash that lived with his wife, and I guess, you know, a family man type of thing, but I don't know if they had kids or not. This isn't about Mark Bolin. This is about Peregrine Took. And then he, you know, one was kind of a shitbird and one was kind of a whatever, but a family guy. So they began to detest one another, and he didn't really approve of his drug use and everything. Bolin didn't approve of Took's drug use, but Took eventually began a relationship with Bolin's idol, who was Syd Barrett of Pink Floyd, which we should do an episode on Syd Barrett sometime, or something about Syd Barrett. But they bonded over the use of LSD and psychedelic music and sounds, of course, and he also appeared as a backup vocalist on some of David Bowie's tracks, which I thought was kind of interesting as well. So he's kind of like dipping his toes in everything, you know what I mean? He's dipping his toes in LSD, in with the David Bowies and the dipping his toe in Bowie's, dipping his toes in Bowie's. I don't know why that rang off in my head for some reason. I don't know why, but Tyrannosaurus Rex was soon set to embark on their first American tour, and Took was notified by Bolin and their management that he would be fired as soon as the tour was completed. But, you know, he was contractually obligated to do the U.S. tour, so he kind of had to still do it, but knowing that he was going to be fired after it, which sucks. I would hate for that to happen to anybody.
Right.
Because then you're like, am I really that into this?
Right.
You know what I mean? But another problem arose with an incident, and this is the cool, fun part, I feel like. Not the cool, fun part, I say that jokingly, but another problem arose with an incident at a UK Rolling Stone launch party, I guess. Took had spiked the jugs of punch with a hallucinogen called STP, which I thought it was funny because STP, all I thought about was Stone Temple Pilots for some reason.
Well, it's also an oil thing too.
STP, yeah. But it's technically called 2,5-dimethoxy-4-methylamphetamine, which makes me think that it's some kind of hallucinogenic meth. You know what I mean? It's like, it's definitely an amphetamine because it's in the fucking chemical name. So if anybody knows what STP is, fucking comment that shit, because I couldn't find much about it. I didn't want to dive too much into that this one instance, so I didn't really do that much research on the drug. But he spiked the punch jugs. It's a good band name. Jugs of punch with the hallucinogen STP, which is 2,5-dimethoxy-4-methylamphetamine. And he had actually previously pulled pranks like that. And this kind of, though he had already done that, this particular instance kind of solidified an infamous nickname. They called him the Phantom Spiker, which I thought was cool. And he, as the shitbird that he is, reveled in it. Like, he loved being called the Phantom Spiker, apparently. And it's like, that's just like a shitty thing to be cool with about yourself, you know what I mean? But I guess Bolin was very severely affected by the drug, and he knew right away that it was Took that did it. And so basically, Took was contractually obligated to tour the U.S., but coped with his disinterest by taking drugs. And after this whole instance, that was still, I guess, wasn't enough for them to fire him, like, completely, like, to get him out of his contract. So, which I feel like that would be. Let me get to this first part, or this next part, and then the Phantom spiking thing, I feel like, was way worse and should have been the last straw. But he was contractually obligated to tour the U.S., but he coped with the disinterest of and his heart not being in the tour because he knew he was going to get fired. So he started taking more drugs, and he began to feel overshadowed by these big full band like electric acts. So he basically like copied Iggy Pop and started like exhibiting like outlandish stage antics. And there was like, I guess one of these times he like ripped his shirt off and started like whipping himself until he bled, just to get like the audience to shut the fuck up. And but apparently that it wasn't like well received by the audiences, and so that gave management the opportunity to fire him, and so he could get out of the tour. But it was like, I would have rather, I feel like you spiking the punch and getting everybody high on hallucinogenic meth, if that's what it is, I feel like that should have been
the last straw,
worse than your, makes no sense. But he was then replaced by Mickey Finn, which I don't know if you know what a Mickey Finn is, which is kind of funny because that definitely can't be his real name. But a Mickey Finn is a slang for roofie, so it's just kind of funny that he's the Phantom Spiker, but got fired and replaced with a guy whose name means to spike something. Like, I'm gonna slip a Mickey Finn. Like, it's that, it's super funny. But then the duo, they renamed themselves T-Rex and once again began a full band lineup. After being fired, Took began a run with several underground bands, such as the Pink Fairies, Chagrant, and his own, on his own as an acoustic performer. Stephen, basically, so as a consequence of intervention by his manager at the time, royalty checks for a Tyrannosaurus Rex song, Blue Thumb, the American releases of Blue Thumb had been arriving periodically, and so Took had received one of these royalty checks that week, this particular week, and so he was still making money off of Tyrannosaurus Rex music, and so one night he decided to purchase morphine and hallucinogenic mushrooms for himself and his then girlfriend, Valerie Sam Billier. I don't know if it's Billiot or Billier, but Billier sounds cooler, so I'm going to say Billier. But basically they bought morphine and hallucinogenic mushrooms, and they both injected themselves with the morphine and took the shroomies, took the shroomy boys. And what do you know? Steve Took kicked the fucking bucket on Monday, the 27th of October, 1980, at 14 Clydesdale House, 255 Westbourne Park Road, Notting Hill, London, at the age of 31, in his apartment with his girlfriend. And they also had her young daughter there, which I doubt she was well, she didn't die, I guess, but I guess it was just Steve Took that died. But yeah, so they shot themselves up with morphine and took mushrooms, and he died, essentially. But what's funny is Took's death certificate basically records that the cause of death was not the morphine and was not the mushrooms. It was asphyxiation after inhaling a cocktail cherry. Drugs were not listed as a contributing factor, even though Took's death is often listed as a drugs misadventure. The reason I'm using this one is because death is not funny, obviously, but you got to find the humor in the fact that this dude shot up morphine and took a bunch of mushrooms, but didn't die from them. He died from choking on a cocktail cherry.
Probably from laughing so fucking hard.
Yeah, dude, he just got the fucking
giggles.
The giggles.
He got the gigglies and fucking took a Steve Took.
Steven Took. But that's
dude.
It's just insane to me. I always loved that story, despite the darkness of because it's like, man, if you wouldn't have drank that cocktail, you probably would have
died from that cocktail.
You could have
cherry.
Yeah, shit. Just why'd you put the cherry in it? Why'd you need the cherry? You could have just drank the cocktail.
Why didn't you chew it first?
Well, you got to think he probably
Did he have the stem?
I don't know. It doesn't disclose that. What's kind of crazy is
we need answers.
Yeah. No, but it's like you would have to how do you inhale that though? Because you'd have to be like it being in there. Yeah, I know how breathing works, Space Camp. But you'd have to just be so fucked up that you're just chugging this thing, and then you're just I don't know. What if he wasn't even drinking a cocktail? He just had a cherry, and he's just he's like, no.
Like a vacuum.
Yeah.
It just turns into an anteater.
You know how people do goofy shit? I don't know if you ever put Fruit Loops down and you just suck him up. What if he was just so fucked up and they were just laughing that he had just cocktail cherries sitting up and he's like, check this out, bitch. And he's just and she's just and he just, they're like, no, and he's too fucked up to say, to really make words.
Fucking that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's
huge.
It's huge. But that is the story of Stephen Peregrine Took from the band Tyrannosaurus Rex. So, moving on. So, next up is Leslie Harvey. What?
I'm trying to remember which one this was.
Yeah. He was born Leslie Cameron Harvey on September 13th, 1944. He was a Scottish guitarist in several bands of the late 1960s and early 1970s, most notably Stone the Crows. Most notably Stone the Crows. In the 1960s, Harvey was once asked to join the Animals, which is one of my favorite bands of that era. Turned them down to continue to pursue. I spelled pursue wrong. My life. But
story of my life.
Yeah, down to well, honestly, I had fucking spell check, and it's the spell check fucking spelled it wrong, fuckers. Just kidding. But he was asked to join the Animals, but turned them down to continue to pursue music with his brother Alex Harvey in the Alex Harvey Soul Band, and then later the Blues Council, which is another Scottish band. In 1965, their tour van crashed, killing the Blues Council's vocalist and bassist, and the band didn't seem to have any reason to continue on, so the remaining members of the Blues Council all parted ways. In 1969, he joined the Scottish band Cartoon, which is a dope fucking band name. They went on various tours supporting legendary acts such as Led Zeppelin, Spirit, and John Lee Hooker. Is that funny to you, John Lee Hooker?
Yeah, all I think is, you're a hooker.
What's that from?
Grandma's Boy.
Oh.
You forgot smoking lap.
Shit. John Lee Hooker. John Lee Hooker. Boom, 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 boom. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure what all he did, but and I actually think John Lee Hooker was the opening act. But that's beside the point. But in late 1969, he went on to form the blues rock progressive soul band Stone the Crows. Stone the Crows meaning it's a British exclamation of surprise or shock, which I still don't exactly know how to use that in like Stone the Crows, like exclamation of shock or surprise, yeah. That's beside the point. Before they were called Power, but I guess the band was renamed by Peter Grant, which was Led Zeppelin's manager, was like, Stone the Crows should be your name. Blah, blah, blah. You want to be a star, don't you? I don't know. Fuck. But he changed the name, or basically got them to change the name from Power to Stone the Crows. Basically, so leading up to this point, while on stage with Stone the Crows at a top-ranked suite in Swansea on the 3rd of May, 1972, Leslie Harvey was electrocuted in front of a live audience when he touched a microphone that was not grounded while the fingers of his other hand were holding the strings of his guitar. So he basically grounded himself out. A roadie attempted to unplug the guitar but was far too late. An ambulance was called, but Harvey was pronounced dead on the scene from his injuries at the age 27, which is kind of crazy because I didn't realize that he was technically part of the 27 Club, and I just didn't know anything about him at the time. But that's kind of wild.
Wait.
Go on.
I thought all the 27 Club was all like drug incident.
No, it had to do with just death at 27. Yeah. There's not really any specific mode of death. If that's I don't think that really mattered. But basically, some people stated that it was due to puddles of water on the stage because of rainfall, but later that was recanted. That was recanted on account of the venue being indoors, so that was impossible. So I feel like it was somebody being like, "Wow, there was rain," and it's like you're trying to cover your ass, dude, and it's like obvious that like we're not outside,
right?
But Harvey recorded his final works with Stone the Crows' fourth album, Ontinous Performance, being released 4 months after his death. And the final song on the album, Sunset Cowboy, was made in tribute to Harvey.
Oh,
yeah. That one was kind of crazy to me. It's like, there was also, I mentioned, I forgot forgot the guy's name, but he also electrocuted himself. Shit, I think I threw my other thing away. Yeah, I did. The other guy, he electrocuted himself as well, but he died in his home studio, which I think was fucking crazy. But I thought it was a little more interesting that somebody was electrocuted on stage in front of people. That's absurd. So, R.I.P., my friend, R.I.P. Next, we have Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards was born Michael Edwards. Sorry, that's what I wrote, so I wanted to say it. But May 31st, 1948, he was later known as Swami Deva Pramada, or simply Pramada. He was an English cellist and music teacher, but best known for his works with the Electric Light Orchestra. Edwards joined ELO in 1972 and played with them from their first gig onward until he parted ways on his own terms in January of 1975. He was well known as a shy, small, infatuated with classical music and always dressed in formal attire, but also, on the other hand, was defined by his why can I not say this word and I fucking wrote it down? eccentric. God fucking damn it. Defined by his eccentricities. Eccentricities. You get what I'm saying. He was very eccentric when it came to his stage performance. Not only did he often play cello with various fruits, which I thought was kind of funny. He like fingered the frets with like oranges and grapefruits and shit. He would also end shows with blowing up his cellos with the help of obviously pyrotechnics. And which this is the only thing that my qualm with it is that he would apparently, in order for him to blow up his cello at the end, they would have had to have been specially designed, like rigged to explode instruments, and he would actually be miming a backing track. So they like recorded his cello, and he was acting like he was playing because you couldn't basically stuff a cello full of pyrotechnics and it still play like it should. Yeah, so that was my only qualm, but it's still dope. Like, he's still blowing up fucking cellos, and I don't see anybody else in this fucking world blowing up fucking cellos. But he contributed to 3 of ELO's studio albums and 1 live album before being replaced by Melvin Gale. After leaving ELO, he joined the Rajneesh movement of Osho and changed his name to Pramada or Pramada. I think Pramada sounds more Indian to me, but he lived on the Rajneesh commune for the duration of the 1980s near Herringwell in Suffolk, India, Hamburg in Germany, and the U.S. So he was kind of going from commune to commune, because I don't know if you know much about the Rajneesh movement, but it was one of those like culty things. I don't know if there's a documentary about the Rajneesh movement on Netflix. It's called Wild Country or something like that. But
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, what the Rajneesh is going on here?
Rajneesh.
But it was one of those where like the leader wasn't a total culty dude. It was like one other person that like kind of fucked up the whole thing, and I think he got kind of in the middle of it, and so the nature of his being is in question. But he was just one of those like Indian like turban guys, and he was just like a guru pretty much. But it's neither I'm neither here nor there about I have no opinion on him, but that's beside the point. Huge. But later, Mike Edwards, his work involved dancers, stage plays, arrangements, cross-genre recordings, producing, composing, collaborations with spoken word and poets, as well as teaching various instruments after moving to Dartington, Devon. In 1999, he was invited to perform with violinist Margaret Faultless. They went on to form the Devon Baroque Orchestra, and Edwards performed with them for just about every single concert up until his untimely demise. But Edwards was this is the wildest one, okay, in my opinion. Not the most grotesque one, like the Cocktail Cherry. I guess wasn't really that gross. None of them are really that gross, but this one's just the wildest as far as like the universe met you at this point in time and was like, it's your time to go. Like, it's so fucking weird to me. But Edwards was killed on the A381 road between Harbertonford and Holwell, near where he lived in Totnes and Devon, on the September 3rd, 2010, when a cylindrical hay bale weighing 1,300 pounds rolled down a hillside and collided with the van he was driving, killing his ass. This is what's wild about that, is what are the odds?
He's coming! He just rolling down the hill.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, that's funny because a court case concluded in 2012 that it resulted in 2 defendants being found not guilty of health and safety charges relating to the incident. So I believe that the 2 defendants were the owners of the farm for not like. I guess they were probably, it was taken into question whether they had actually secured the hay bales where correctly. You know what I mean? It's like, and so they were like, I guess they basically were like, hey, somebody's got to be blamed for this fucking thing, and you know who I blame? The fucking universe, because why that's so wild to me is it's like literally there was one on the entire Earth, in the entire universe of any planet, everywhere, everything all at once. Watch that movie. But everything that exists, there's one point that this hay bale and this van, both moving and collided, they were waiting for each other. Is that not wild? Like,
it is weird to think about.
It's like, what are the odds? Like, death is unfortunate, and I don't believe that anybody deserves to die. But you can't help but think like that was supposed to happen, to some degree. You know what I mean? Because it's just like they just happenstance. One fucking point in all the universe, these two things decided to meet at that particular time perfectly. It's just weird.
This is crazy.
It's like somebody, crashing into a tree or something. I mean, but it's honestly more wild than that because they're two moving objects. When somebody crashes into a tree, it's like that tree, it's debatable whether that tree grew its whole life waiting for you to smash into it. You know what I mean? But these are two fucking moving objects that met. It's just crazy to me. But, and enough about that. I just think that's the wildest one because, everyone knows everybody knows the dangers of electricity and drugs, essentially. But this dude was like fucking living a fucking hippie lifestyle, being all good and stuff, driving his hippie van around, and then you just get smashed into by a fucking hay bale out of nowhere. I think that sucks, man. But that pretty much concludes. But I do have this segment or this topic. But I do have an honorable mention that ties in with the album of the week. It's Randy California. He was, and there's some fun facts about this one that I really enjoy. But born Randy Craig Wolf in February 20th, 1951, he was known as Randy California. He was an American guitarist, singer, and songwriter, and one of the original members of the rock group Spirit, formed in 1967. He was given the name Randy California by Jimi Hendrix, in which he met at Manny's Music in NYC at the age of 15. Which I thought was fucking crazy. It makes me feel old knowing that there's these like famous motherfuckers running around and playing like huge shows at the age of 15. But fun fact, he played in Jammy Jams and the Blue Flames, which I don't know if you know what Jammy Jams and the Blue Flames. It was Jimi Hendrix before he was known as Jimi Hendrix in the Jimi Hendrix Experience. He was Jimmy James in the Blue Flames, and that was his band at the time. That he got discovered by Chaz Chandler and taken to England, where he formed the Experience. But Randy California played in Jimmy James and the Blue Flames for a summer, and he was given the nickname Randy California by Hendrix himself to distinguish him from another Randy in the band, which he dubbed Randy Texas. So there's two Randys, a Randy California and a Randy Texas. But this is about Randy California. When Chaz Chandler discovered Hendrix, he actually intended to take Randy California and Hendrix both to England, but California's parents wouldn't let him, insisting that a 15-year-old should hang back and finish high school, which I think was kind of wild. Because it's like, Mom, can I go to England with Jimi Hendrix? Please? I'll be good. It's like, fuck no, you're gonna fucking finish high school. Nobody nobody cares nothing about no Jimi Hendrix. Well, I bet his parents feel like well, they're probably long dead, but I feel like his parents definitely probably feel real bad about that one, knowing what Jimi Hendrix became. But debatably, some say that Chandler gave California the boot before going to England, only wanting Hendrix. But it's, like I said, it's debatable. I just felt like I should add that. But Randy California formed Spirit in 1967 with Ed Cassidy, Jay Ferguson, bassist Mark Andes, and John Locke. They released their first self-titled album 1 month before California's 17th birthday, which I think is absurd. Jesus fucking Christ. Hendrix died. California got super depressed, left Spirit. They went through their court case with Stairway to Heaven and the Taurus guitar riffs. But in October 2020, the Supreme Court ended the dispute. I guess nothing actually ever came of that dispute. Like, neither here nor there. Nobody like won any sum of money. It's just it kind of redefined like similarities in music and what they mean to the law and shit. But 2020 Supreme Court ended that dispute, so nothing came of the Stairway to Heaven Taurus guitar riff off. But the reason I mention this, though, is Randy California drowned in the Pacific Ocean on January 2nd, 1997 at the age of 45 because he was rescuing his 12-year-old son Quinn from a rip current near his mother's home in Molokai, Hawaii. I totally pronounced that wrong. But he managed to push his son, who survived, towards the shore, but he got swept up in the riptide and drowned, which I thought was fucking crazy. It wasn't really a misadventure or anything, but he was one of my favorite guitar players, and I love Spirit, and I thought that was a very honorable thing. Is he did die by misadventure or just some sort of murderous mishap, but he fucking saved his son. I thought that was kind of wild. It's like you fucking Jesus type of dude. I don't know why I said that, but sacrifice, that's what it is. But there was a trust established after his death, and the royalties from his recording contracts financially supports the Randy California Project, which is a music education program for underprivileged elementary school children in Ventura County, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, man. We did it. We're done. We made it to the end here. We fucking did it. That concludes Death and Dissonance Part 2, Incalculable Casualties and Freak Tragedies, the minstrels of misadventures taken too soon by the universe's misfortunes. Anyways, so...
okay. Yeah, it's before I forget. I was like, so
Sure.
at the beginning of it, it was like, without further ado, we bring a topic to you. Is what I was trying to say, and that's why I was like, wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. Because I thought it sounded cool.
That sounds cool to you? Okay, well, I'm glad you
Without
wrote
further
that.
ado, we just brought a topic to you.
Well, we brought quite a few things to you. I feel like I'm glad that we started and ended with some weird thing you said, but you know. But I hope that everybody is enjoying the show and enjoying our series here of Death and Dissonance. Murder and music, basically. And next week we're gonna do Death and Dissonance Part 3, which might conclude the series. I don't know, depending on if we want to fucking dig into this Chester Bennington thing and go a little further with it. But we're going to do Death and Dissonance Part 2, which is posthumous fame, which is people that didn't become famous until after their demise. So if you're into that sort of thing, stick around and watch next week's episode as well as we move through this. And hopefully after that we might go into some lighter topics of like not scary, dark stuff. But you know what? Who's to know? Who's to know what's to come? So, that being said, we are going to live with cause and leave the results to the great law of the universe. We are going to we're going to live our lives in careful contemplation. We're going to be patient. We're going to be fucking president. We're going to be huge. We're going to be president. We're going to be huge.
We're going to stay funky, y'all.
But we're going to stay funky. We're going to stay, more importantly, groovy, which is debatably the same thing, but you never know. But, careful contemplation. Be patient. Be present in your lives. Stay funky. Stay groovy. Enjoy your lives. You know what? Make the decision to be in a good mood. All right, manifest these good times and invest in good times and good vibes and all that sort of fun stuff. All right, because you're in control of that. You can have a good time whether you are or aren't. So, that being said, without further ado,
we brought to you Art of the Jam.
Art of the Jam, ladies and gentlemen. Ho ho! Anyways, that was good, I think. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's pretty decent. Pretty decent. It was decent. 3 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5.